One of the worst trips I had there was we did TV at TBS, and then we got to Charlotte, and me and Ivan, we had to drive. I think it was Richmond, Virginia, and we were on late at night, and then the next day we had to be in Charleston, South Carolina. So we were going up. So we did the TVs in the morning. We drove up, had our matches up there. We were coming home. It was probably about 11 or 12 at night, and we had a couple beers in the car, and we're going home. And I'm looking at Ivan, and I said, "Ivan, how you doing?" Ivan goes, "I've never felt so good in my life." And I said, "Well, I got to get some sleep. I haven't slept. It's been a couple of days." So I'm leaning on the door, and I look over at Ivan, and Ivan's over there going like this.
And he's driving?
And he's driving. He's got the cruise on about 80. And I go, "Hey, Ivan, how you doing?" He says, "Crush, I'm doing unbelievable. I never felt so good." I said, "Well, you look like you're a little bit tired, He says, "No, I feel good." So I'm sitting over there. I got my eye open. I'm watching him. He's just like this. And I'm not lying. He falls asleep. We're going about 80 down the freeway. I grab the steering wheel, and I'm holding the wheel, and we're going down the road at 80, and he's asleep. And I'm thinking, I don't want to wake him up and scare him because he's going to go right off. So it seemed like it was about 10 minutes, but, it was probably maybe, 45 seconds or something. But it was enough. We would have been dead.
I remember this story.
And then he wakes up, and he's got the wheel. And I take my hand off of it, and I look at him. I go, "Ivan, how you doing?" He goes, "I never felt so good in my life. It feels like I just slept about 2 hours or so, And I said, "You did sleep that long." I said, "You were out cold," and he couldn't believe it, but he was. He was out cold, didn't even know it.
100% remember that story.
That's how bad those trips were, though, to where, you had to make them, but, it was tough.
There's a lot of driving.
Barry, talk to us about your relationship with Ivan. I've heard other clips and videos on YouTube before. I just want you to share with our audience your just thoughts on Ivan Koloff.
Well, when I first got up there, Nikita, I talked to him a lot. He said, "Yeah, you got to meet Uncle Ivan. He's the greatest guy in the world." And, I followed his career when he was in New York, and I knew he was just a machine, but, he was older than us, and I didn't know how he was really going to be. And when I first met him, it was just like he was friends for, right off the bat. He was so incredible. And he was a real humble guy. It wasn't like, "Here's what you got to do in the ring. Here's," it was like, he's the veteran and he's asking me what I want to do in the ring,
Wow.
And I had to say, "Ivan, no, what do you want to do in the ring?" And he was just a machine. It was almost like you had to fight with him to get him out of the ring. And, we do our matches with, the Rock and Roll Express, say, and the only way we could do it was because of him. I mean, he was that good, but he was such a good friend, and he was great to everybody. He was just a good guy, wasn't he, Arn?
He was as respected as anybody in the business at that time, I would say.
And being around him, then, the guys that you didn't know, like when I came in, once you became friends with him, it was like you immediately had the respect from everybody, and they knew you were going to work with them and had good matches because they knew Ivan was, such a good hand. And with Nikita there, it was perfect for him because he could fit in, and he was really starting to learn how to work. And he was a crowbar to start with, but we all were. But he came around and he could start doing some things. But it was almost with Nikita, you had to create a monster with him because he was the monster of the three of us. So, Ivan worked it just perfect, though.
He was the stick guy of your stable. I mean, he was the guy that was over there with Bob Cottle and Tony Schiavone and David Crockett, making it all happen with the mic at that point.